Over the last few years, through this channel, I've helped tremendous amounts of domestic and international students navigate their study in the US journey. And in today's video, we're going to talk about a topic that's creating panic in a lot of international students' minds, families, relatives, and all of that. The new $100,000 H1B rule. So with this new rule, is it even worth coming to the US as a student? What does your career prospects look like? Will you be required to go home right after your study? Is it just all a money trap? So in this video, we're going to break it down step by step in what situations that 100K rule will apply to you as a student and in which situations the rule will not apply. So I see this as a good and bad news. Let's dive into this. So what exactly is this $100,000 H-1B rule? Now in September of 2025, the current government introduced a rule to protect American jobs, which stated that the H-1B workers would be subject to a $100,000 fee. Now, there was a lot of panic created because of a few reasons. One, how fast this rule actually came into effect. Within like 24 to 48 hours, the rule was stated on the USCIS website and people quite didn't understand who it applied to. Did it apply to current H-1B workers, future workers? And there was a lot of panic at airports, in various places, just to kind of understand what this meant. Now, the rule was further clarified in October of 2025, where they clearly stated who this applies to and who this doesn't. So there are two requirements that we need to keep in mind at this point. The first one is that this rule only applies to new H-1B petitions that are filed after September 2025. And the second requirement is that the petition must be filed outside of the US, not inside of the US. Now, I know this can be very confusing, but just remember these two requirements and let's deviate and understand what a typical student's F1 visa journey looks like. And I'll take you through the process and show you how this would basically come into play for international students themselves. Let's say you're an international student and you come to the US to study whichever degree, undergrad, master's, or PhD. You will apply for the F1 visa, which is called the student visa. Now, in this situation, the visa is provided to you for whatever length of duration your degree is, 2 years, 4 years. Now, we're going to take a few case scenarios on what happens when you finish your degree. The first case scenario is you've completed your degree, you want to gain some work experience and continue living in the US. In this situation, you'll apply for something called Optical Practical Training, otherwise known as OPT, which is a type of an employment authorization within the US. You're not leaving the country. This OPT is provided for 1 year or 12 months. Now, certain students that have achieved a degree in the STEM field, which is science, engineering, technology, or mathematics, are eligible to extend their OPT for another 2 more years. So that gives them an additional work authorization limit of 2 years. Now, after these 3 years, typically students apply for the H-1B lottery and then move on to the H-1B status. Now notice within this whole process from F1 to OPT to STEM OPT to H1B, the student continues to live in the US, not go out of the country. In this situation, this 100K H1B rule does not apply to you. If you're applying for the H1B in the US, the rule does not apply to you. You would fall under that category. Now the second scenario is, let's say you finished your degree as an F1 student and you decide you don't want to stay in the US, you're missing your parents, family, you just want to go back to your home country. You decide to leave. Or let's say that you're unable to find a job in the US. So because you can't find a job within that 90-day period to actually get the OPT, employment authorization, you're forced to leave the US. Whatever the reason may be, you have to leave the US. And after a few years, even after 1 year, you decide, I want to apply for the H-1B, or you find an employer that agrees to sponsor you. In this situation, because you're applying outside of the US, that $100,000 rule will apply to you because it's outside of the US and it is a new H-1B petition. Now let's take a third scenario, which is like a curveball. It may not apply to a lot of you, but I know some parents also watch this channel. Maybe you're in the US on an L1, H-1B visa, you have dependents and children that are on H-4. Now, as long as the children are in the US and then applying for F1 and then change of status to H-1B, the rule will not apply. The important thing to note here is As long as that H1B petition for your child or for yourself as an international student is being applied as a change of status within the US, the $100,000 rule does not apply to you. All right, so I hope that that clarified some of your questions. If you have specific questions around the rule, still put those in the comments below and we'll see how best we can address them. In my opinion, I feel like keeping all of this visa stuff aside, it really hasn't changed the place much for F1 students. US is still the place you want to be for that quality education. There are still top universities, all 8 Ivy Leagues that students want to study cutting edge technology no matter what field you're going into. So all of these things have not changed. And honestly, this new rule does not impact international students as much as I've been seeing the panic. So calm yourself down. If you're applying for this admission cycle and planning to come to the US, continue to work hard on those applications. And if you have any of those questions as well, put those in the comments below too. Like the video if you're watching till this point and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.